You could ruin your Saturday morning trying to play pitmaster in your PJs, or do the work early and still come out looking like a barbecue genius. Let's make it happen. So here's the situation. So I have church tomorrow, which is Sunday, and I need to cook ribs and have them ready for church. But we're going to be home probably by about 12:30 in the afternoon, and I don't want to get up at the crack of dawn to cook these ribs. So what I've done here today is I'm preparing the ribs ahead of time. As you can see, I'm moving the membrane. I'm taking off any fat bits, anything that's going to burn up on the pit. I like rounding the ribs off. Some of these membranes don't come up as easy as maybe other racks of ribs, so I don't sweat it. I just score the membrane, and I know it'll crisp up as I'm cooking it. So again, barbecue is about having fun. So I'm taking off things that I know are not going to taste good and things that I don't want to feed my guests, honestly. So I just make sure things are looking good. Some of that topical fat I remove. Most important part to me is seasoning, and as you can see, I like to season probably about a foot over the meat, and that helps with good, even coverage. I feel that's so important so the rub does not clump up in areas and cook unevenly. You don't want bald spots on your rib. I usually start with 16 mesh pepper, a small coat of that, and then I use my savory and sweet rub. It's my championship rub that I'll also outline in the Smokers Guild once that's live. It's a very balanced rub. It goes with most kinds of pork, and it really leaves a nice mahogany color, a great taste. And what I really like about it is that it complements the pork. So many rubs out there today, they taste good, but they mask the flavor of the pork. Well, you're eating ribs because you want to taste the ribs, right? And look at that color. It's already sweating in. It's going to be a great cook, and I'm looking forward to it. And what I almost forgot to do was put the hooks in. I did say I'm hanging those ribs, right? So yeah, got to take time to put the hooks in. Now here's something to notice. Go 2 bones down, then put the hook in, and it's always important to do that. That way it stays on the hanger, and it's less of a risk of that falling off of the hanger in your drum cooker into the fire, and you don't want that to happen. See, 2 bones down, so important. Very simple to do. 1, 2. There you go. Make it happen. All right, so we got the ribs ready. Guess what? Cooking time. Time to barbecue. Let's get it out to the pit. See you soon. Now, I'm no different than most guys. I like playing with fire. So I've got my torch with me today, and we're going to get this stuff lit up and ready to go. Oh, yeah, it's rib time. So I've got my lump charcoal here, full basket. Going to light that up, get it going. Put a little bit of cherry, a little bit of hickory in the drum, let it come up to temp. About 300 is where I ultimately ended up. Got my Thanos glove here, got my ribs, and I'm going to put it on my hanger. Never mind my wife's thumb there. She was tired. She did me a favor. She got up to film. Thanks, baby. So we got the ribs looking good. They're going to hang in that smoke. They're going to take on a great color, great bark. And I love hanging ribs because they baste themselves. As they render fat, all of that fat drips down and bastes the meat. You don't really have to spray or spritz or anything like that in a drum. So I've got 6 racks of ribs going on for my friends at church. They should enjoy this tomorrow. We're getting to the secret real soon, guys. Just hang with me for a couple of minutes here. But I'm going to cook these to about uh, good color. How about that? I want the rub to stick on. I don't want it to come off. So I checked about 25 minutes later. I'm looking at it. The color's already starting to look really good. Bark is getting there, but not quite where I want it. Another 20 minutes later, after spinning that hanger about a quarter turn, you want to do that for even cooking over that fire. It's looking even better. So let me pull a rack out and see how this is looking right now. Good color. But if you look really closely, the rub is not quite set. And sometimes with these drums, they cook very moist, and it takes time for the rub to set. So back in Thanos it goes. I'm going to turn it here again, probably another half turn. And now we've got good bark on these ribs. Look at that. Now, the bottom rib is a little bit burned, but that's okay. That often happens when you're cooking on a drum. You'll sacrifice a bone or two sometimes, but the rest of that rack is just awesome. It's great bark on it. Now, I know I had 6. Guess what? One of them fell into the fire. And you know what happened? I put the hanger in it under the first bone for that one, and I paid the price. So maybe that'll be for my dog. We'll see. All right, now I'm wrapping these ribs. Typical wrap. I've got my brown sugar, a little bit of the magic blue bottle, the parquet there. I'm putting that down. This is an old Johnny Trigg recipe. Ran out of honey because I used most of it for the sauce, so I thought I would use blue agave and then tiger sauce. So check out your grocery stores. If you can find tiger sauce, which is a hot sauce, it is great. So I like putting my ribs in the wrap meat side down. As you notice, I had really good bark beforehand. Don't put ribs in wraps. If the bark is not set, it'll wash off. And then I like putting the foil very tightly over the ribs because I don't want to steam. I don't want to lose that bark. I just want to braise. So here's a step I did. I put these ribs now in my Yoder YS640 because I don't have enough room on my gateway drum. And then look what I did. Came up to temp. They're all done. I'm putting them in the fridge. That's the step. I'm actually going to put them in fridge after resting overnight. The next day, I put them in the oven. Took them up to about 140 warming temperature, ready to eat. But before I did that, I did something you've seen me do on this channel many times. I hot glazed them. And that's what I call hot glazing when you actually start a kettle up. I've got my Weber here. And I've warmed up some of my barbecue glaze, and I'm glazing over live fire. So this is an awesome step because you can hold your ribs overnight in the refrigerator after they've cooled down, of course, after they've reached a done temperature. Set them out for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, put them in the refrigerator in all those juices in the foil. And then after that, the next day, warm them up in an oven. You can warm them up on a pellet grill, get them up to about 140 temperature, which is about a good eating temperature, and then take them to the grill and do some hot glazing here. So they could actually be eaten even right now before putting them on the grill, but there's nothing like adding char marks, just like a steak. There's nothing like that taste of a rib that is smoked like a competition rib, but then you add that delicious char and you're adding layers and layers of sauce and flavor to your ribs. You keep flipping them over that live fire. Can you smell it even through the screen right now? I bet you can. These ribs turned out fantastic. I love them. And again, look how many layers of glaze I put on these. They were just as juicy. They were awesome. Now, one thing I did do, I put in the foil, as they were warming up in the morning, I put a little bit of pineapple juice, and it really helped. And look what happened. This is the finished product. Great bark, great flavor, plenty of juice. So don't think about them being in the refrigerator and drying them out. I added a little bit of liquid to the foil as they warmed up in my oven, and they were so juicy. They were so succulent. We really enjoyed these ribs. And look at that knife, just cutting right through it. They were tender. It was like butter. And hey, I love vegetarians too, so they're invited as well. Maybe we'll pull them over to this side. Look at that smoke ring. These things were tender. They were great. Don't mind if I do. Again, you don't have to get up at the crack of dawn to have delicious ribs. You can get your rest. Just cook the day before, let them cool down, put them in the fridge, warm them up, and then hot glaze those guys over hot coals, and you will have some awesome barbecue. Keep following Silly Bubba for more helpful tips.